Let's revisit our story in South Sudan, where at least 20 people were killed and 38 others were wounded on Saturday during intense intercommunal fighting in Tonj, North County of Warrap State. Patrick Oyet is live for us in Warrap. He joins us now for more on this. Patrick, what is the latest on this intercommunal fighting in Tonj, North County of Warrap State, where you are?
Yeah, Penina, we just arrived in Warrap earlier today, and we've been moving around in the villages, talking to people, also some few government officials that we managed to get. And what we are told is that now there are roadblocks that have been put, and therefore people who are moving to supply, those who are fighting with ammunition, are not able to move. And the government has said it has also arrested a number of people who are actually carrying ammunition to take to the youth who are fighting. But of course, also it is important to note that this fighting resulted from a revenge killing, because we have these communities that when you kill a family member, they can even wait for 3, 4, 5, 10 years and then revenge. So this fighting started as a revenge because a family said that one family at one time killed its member and then therefore went and attacked another family. Then it escalated until a number of people have been killed. So the government is saying it is putting its feet on the ground, and also the state government is calling on the national government to help, to especially reinforce, send in more troops so that the situation is maintained. But the challenge is, of course, floods, because the roads, most of the roads are cut off now. The villages are on their own. So it is a challenge to really send even troops to reinforce, to ensure that the law law and order is kept. But the state authorities say they are working to ensure that it doesn't escalate anymore.
At the moment, Patrick, what is happening to ensure there is security?
Well, one of the things, first of all, the irony here is this is the state where the president of the Republic of South Sudan comes from, Warrap State, and this conflict has actually been on for some time. But also there has been change in the state leadership. For example, the person who was a governor here has been removed, and then a new governor has been appointed who has not yet reported to the state. So there is a kind of a small vacuum which is also there. But also another problem that is making these insecurity issues to continue to persist is a lack of really a judicial system, where, for example, if somebody has committed a crime in terms of killing somebody, they can be tried and really be taken to jail. That's why families take it upon themselves to really revenge. If somebody has killed your person, you wait and also you go and kill. So lawlessness is due to actually weak judicial system. That is one of the things that is happening. And you find that in many of these places, there are no courts. There are only mobile courts that come to a place maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So it's not really there to dispense justice that the people really expect. And then you have the security sector that is also having a lot of challenges. The soldiers, the police, the national security officers, you find they have gone for almost 10 months without salaries. So you can imagine the kind of service that they deliver is also not up to date. So a lot of challenges with security, a lot of challenges with the judicial system, and also the issue of power, and then now the issue of revenge, Penina.
All right, Patrick, thank you for that. Patrick Oyet speaking to us from Warrap State in South Sudan. Let's broaden this conversation. We now have Jeffrey Duke, Director for South Sudan Action Network on Small Arms. He joins us from London. Thank you very much, Mr. Duke, for joining us tonight. Why are we seeing an increase in intercommunal fighting in South Sudan?
Well, in fact, we're not actually seeing an increase. We have seen a decrease in intercommunal violence in South Sudan. Over the past, there's been actually more frequent and overwhelming, not only in Warrap State, but in other states as well, such as Lex, Jonglei, Unity, and Eastern Equatoria. But this over the past few months, there's been a decline, but now this is a sharp increase in terms of particular Warrap State. Now, this recent crisis basically highlights a deeply entrenched cycle of violence that is rooted in historical grievances among the different ethnic groups, tribes, and clans. And it reflects a volatile, fabric of a society marked by, rivalries and unresolved historical disputes. And it has been exacerbated, or rather fueled, by the availability of small arms and light weapons, as you've seen how civilians armed to teeth have perpetuated this violence, and the armed forces are not able to intervene in good time.
So having said that, what do you think should be done to prevent the escalation of this intercommunal fighting?
Now, I have to illustrate why such a cycle of violence continues to happen before I actually make recommendations. This incident actually illustrates a very critical failure in terms of government response to the cycle of intercommunal violence, not only in Warab State, but across South Sudan. Civilian militancy has been a major issue, a major challenge for peace and security in South Sudan. And historically, the government has often intervened by attempting to disarm civilians and the youth that are involved in the fighting, rather than addressing the real underlying causes of the conflicts that has resulted into the violence. Now, as motivations for arming themselves, such as insecurity, lack of protection, and the historical grievances remain unaddressed, these youth often go and rearm themselves. So the cycle of violence continues, and we see a cycle of also disarmament, rearmament, and disarmament. Disturbingly, these arms are coming from some corrupt members of the armed forces who are supposed to protect the civilians. Further exacerbating the issue of the conflict and eroding trust on the government. Now, there are three things that needs to be done to address this issue. First is to get into the roots of these conflicts, because it's not just accident that these things, this type of violence occurs. These are historical grievances, unaddressed issues. As you can see in this case, someone was killed 2 years ago, but justice has not been served. So this was a revenge attack. Now, if the government wants to prevent such incidences from happening in the future, we have to address the issue of lack of justice, strengthening justice systems at the local level that can address everyday security and justice needs. And then, of course, the other issues of conflict can be unearthed through fostering dialogue among the different ethnic groups, tribes, and clans. And in the past, dialogues have been convened. However, there has been a huge challenge of implementation, because beautiful resolutions have been reached, but these have often not been implemented. So fostering dialogue and then finding a mechanism for effective implementation is necessary. Now, the second thing is, of course, to deal with the immediate humanitarian assistance, because we could see from the reports, those who have been wounded have not been attended to medically. They have not been given medical assistance. And part of that is because even this violence makes it dangerous for humanitarian agencies to intervene, besides making it challenging for security officers to intervene. So the immediate needs of those wounded needs to be addressed. And over a long-term period, we have to look at how to improve security such that, the security forces are close enough to respond to such clashes, so that we don't see a whole day or 2 days of clashes in this case, and then security forces are nowhere because they are far, and then traveling to this location has become impossible because of flooding, and the roads are in poor shape. So making sure that security services are close to the people is important. And of course, finally, having dialogue with communities on how to remove arms and preventing rearmament by addressing the various demand factors that push communities to rearm themselves.
All right, we appreciate those insights. Thank you very much for your time tonight.